It's still ongoing. I take it the weather has not, even though it hasn't, even they can rescue in the rain, but the darkness must be an impediment.
They're still down there working.
In terms of the people badly injured that you've seen, we're getting uncertain information in terms of injuries, fatalities. We know that there have been critical taken to the hospital.
I'm a university professor. I'm not a doctor. We helped 2 people out that were fairly critical, and we helped 2 other people out that were not critical. So I think you just have to wait for the doctors to tell you.
People in the neighborhood running down or rushing to the area to help?
Yes, tons. Hundreds. Dozens.
I suppose that to say that you've never seen anything like it, none of us has ever seen anything like this.
I've never seen anything like this. And I was amazed at the people that were, there were some National Guard people that were down there. There were some med students that were down there. There were some nurses that were down there. There were a lot of people that were, front and center down in the water trying to help people out.
Looking at the video oftentimes is so vastly different than being there. We see the video, it looks like the bridge just buckled. How do you describe it, your eyewitness?
I heard a crash, and then I saw it start to fall, and then I saw it continue to fall. So I might have expected that it would have, a collapse could be a collapse of 6 feet, and that didn't happen. It just continued to fall. So a domino effect would be the way to describe it.
What we have been learning tonight is that this is a highly traveled bridge, about 140,000 cars per day. During rush hours, is it bumper to bumper and sort of slow traffic, or faster moving than that?
It was incredibly slow. It was down to 1 lane.
Which makes it only worse, the number of cars that were on the bridge, the possibilities at the time that it collapsed.
Yeah, actually, it probably makes. Sorry, I'm not a merchant of death, so it probably makes it a little bit better because there was a limited number of cars that could have actually crossed that bridge.
Weather was fine, though, at the time.
Sorry, can you hold on 1 sec?
Yeah.
Are we live?
We are live, sir.
We want to make sure that those who urgently need to use their cell phones can. So we ask everyone to please make as little use of your cell phone as possible, with respect for those who obviously need it quite desperately this evening. We also want to send a message to anyone who is in the Metrodome at the Twins game tonight that they are obviously safe, but we are sending them all down 2 streets, 4th and 6th Street in the city. The light rail will also be operating, and so we want to make sure that as that crowd comes out tonight, that they move toward the downtown area, not toward the incident. We greatly appreciate the support of the citizens in staying away from the site, because obviously we need to have our resources at full maximum at that point. So what I wanted to do now is to turn it over to Chief Dolan to talk a bit more about the incident, to Governor Pawlenty, and then we'll turn to Ted Canoga of the Red Cross. Chief?
Which is about 50 miles to the north of the Twin Cities, coming down to try and help out. We have just received word that there was 1 confirmed fatality from drowning from this accident. 6 other people were critically injured, and about 22 people are at the nearest hospital, Hennepin County Medical Center, with non-life-threatening injuries. So police are right now warning people to stay away from this area so they don't get in the way of emergency workers. Greta?
Do you know anything about this bridge? I mean, our last guest said that he thought there was almost routine maintenance. It's Minnesota, it's summertime, it's time to maintain the bridge. Do you have any information on this bridge?
Well, from our understanding, they were just doing some work on the top of the bridge, maybe some repaving or repairing the pavement, so weren't doing any structural work on the bridge, but, that will, of course, be investigated as we look into this and try and figure out exactly what caused this collapse.
A number of viewers have written me asking questions about this. One email from a man named Doug Gerhardt, wondering about whether vibrations from jackhammer, if that's been going on, whether there's tractor trailers going on it all day long. I assume that, but whether there's any sort of unusual vibrations this particular bridge might be subject to.
Well, there were 20 to 30 construction workers who were working on the bridge, along with heavy equipment, and some witnesses said that they were in the traffic was at a standstill right before the bridge collapsed. So I'm sure there was a lot of weight on the bridge that could have contributed to the collapse. But right now, we just really don't have any answers.
How do you describe the location of this bridge? It's over the Mississippi, but what does it connect? What parts of the city?
It heads north from downtown Minneapolis to the northern suburbs of Roseville and New Brighton. It's a very traveled section of the freeway. Like you said, 140,000 cars probably go over this bridge every day. As a matter of fact, there are about 20,000 fans at the Metrodome right now watching a Twins game who the authorities are trying to figure out how they're going to get home. And a lot of those people are also wondering if their loved ones were on that bridge. So a lot of people concerned tonight.
And what we're hearing about that Minnesota Twins game, they have postponed tomorrow night's game, but that they deliberately did not postpone tonight's game because they didn't want to drop 20,000 to 30,000 more cars in the area, which might hinder the rescue effort. So deliberately went forward tonight to sort of help the rescue workers.
And Greta, just to give you some perspective, I've been reporting here for about 5 years. I've never seen anything like this. It has been basically a parking lot for several blocks around where this happened. There have been hundreds of people coming down to this area. It's just been jammed with people who are trying to see what happened and rescue workers trying to get here. So it's been a pretty crazy night.
I'm curious how this number, 50 cars in the water, whether that is a real number or whether that's a number that's just sort of become contagious within the media. And we all keep repeating it. Do you know how that estimate or where that's coming from?
Well, the only thing I can tell you is one of our field producers went down with a crew and they were doing some shooting down at the bridge, which is about 4 or 5 blocks away. And our field producer said he counted personally about 36 cars and 2 school buses, and that is in addition to that semi-tractor trailer and the vehicle that caught on fire. So if it's not that 50 number, it seems like it was pretty close, because he said he just stopped counting at about 36 vehicles.
Are those in the water, though? The school buses didn't make it in the water, did they, more? I mean, aren't they sort of, at least the one school bus we know of looks safe on the remaining portion of the bridge?
There are, the bridge kind of goes over